Hello everyone. My name is Voltaire, a junior at Metropolitan State University. I'm doing this video as part of the requirement for the finals for my cyber operation class at Metropolitan State University. The video is uh, basically for educational purpose and nothing else. What I'm going to be talking today about is it's about performing vulnerability assessment or testing on a network. Vulnerability assessment is something which is important to something really important which we should constantly be doing on our network in order to know the devices that are currently available on our network and also the services they are currently running. The tool which I'm going to be using is Nmap. Nmap is a tool which is used which is used mostly by IT professional to kind of like scan their network environment in search of devices that are connected on the website, like I mentioned, and also uh, know the applications that are being run by these devices. Like Nmap go as far as telling you the operating system which is run by devices on your network. So it is a pretty much popular and handy tool which is out there available for IT professional. And it's actually a free application. You can Google Nmap for download and Nmap for download. You're gonna have you're gonna find it pretty much handy out there available for download free without paying anything, um, which I think is pretty cool. Haven't said that, I'm gonna jump right straight to the demonstration. I'm gonna start by actually scanning the entire network in search of connected devices, that to actually know the devices that are connected to the network. One thing I want us to know is uh, Nmap can actually, you don't actually need an actual IP address or a network in order to perform a scan. It go as much as using the DNS name or the common name of a server or a website. If you pretty much know that, you can perform the scan. For example, you can do uh, nmap metrostate.edu. Nmap is pretty much going to scan that metro state server and gives me information about the services it runs and the available ports that are open and all sorts of other interesting information about that server. But one thing we have to know is it is illegal to just go around and randomly scan people's website or available IP address out there. It's perfectly illegal. You can't just do that. In order to perform a scan on anybody's website on in search of anything, you need uh, a written kind of well documented written approval from the person that actually owns or manages that services. I mean, you need a written report of to actually do that because it is illegal to do that. So, having said that, I'm going to perform a scan of my home network. I believe I'm pretty much covered to do that. It's my home network. So I'm going to scan my home network in search of available devices on my home network. So I'm going to assume I don't know my home networks, which is something pretty easy. I could easily find by running the ipconfig command. I'm currently using command prompt. So if I do ip config, uh, it's pretty much going to give me the information on my network. Like I see this, I'm currently using my Wi-Fi. I can see. So this is my IP address of my computer, and this is the network. Like looking at the network, I can easily tell it is a class C network, a slash 24 network due to these 3 octets of the network area. So that pretty much tells me that the first 3 section of my IP address is the network area, while the fourth octet, this 20 is the host. So I pretty much have all the information I need concerning my network to do a network scan. I know it's a class 24 network. I have the network area of which I got from my IP. So having with that, I can perform my network scan. So I can quickly copy this. Let me make sure I adequately copy this, my IP address of my computer. Enter, edit, enter, copy. So I've copied it. So I'm going to quickly clear this. When I clear this, I'm going to perform the scan with using nmap. So I can easily say run the command nmap, nmap, and then I say perform a simple scan. What one thing I want to emphasize here is we could easily go to Google and really kind of like Google simple nmap command to scan the network. We're going to have a lot of resources which will give us some common commands which we could use in pretty much doing some basic stuff with nmap. So what I'm doing now is a simple scan, which I can use the command sn simple scan. So what I'm saying is nmap do a simple scan of this network. This is a network. I know that's my IP address, but I can pick any IP on that network. I can say IP address 5. Then it's a /24 network. /24 network. Then one thing I like doing, which is not it is not an obligation, but I just like doing, like I like doing a -v. The -v stands for the verbosity. The verbosity is just like nmap. I'm doing this nmap query, show me every step of the way of the scan, because sometimes it is really annoying to just while nmap is scanning to just sit and wait. You don't actually know what is going on. So this where this verbosity comes in handy. It kind of like shows you all, steps you through all the way through the entire scan. So if I run this, it's going to scan my network. As you can see, it's currently performing the scan. It doesn't take long. You see, that's it. It scanned scanned the entire network. So I'm on a /24 network. It means I have 254 available IP addresses on my network, which we can see which it does scan. So when the scan started, it gives me the time when the scan started. As we can see, it actually tells me, like I said, 255 hosts. Host is scanning 255 hosts on that host net on that network, because it's a /24 network which has 225 host IP address to give out. So it actually performed the scan, and this is the report of the scan. So you can see it performed the first scan on the first available host. It tells me this host scan will perform on this host, and the host is currently down. All of these, they are currently down. It just tells me all of these are currently down. So if I scroll down, it's pretty much all these hosts. It went through 254 scan. All of this, they are down. All these hosts, they are down. They are not currently in use. So if I scan to the end, that is where it's going to show me the active hosts. Like if you see here, it tells me this IP address is currently up, and if we can remember, this is the IP address of this my computer. So this my computer is the only device that is currently connected to this network, like which nmap has revealed when the scan is performed. So it is, as you can see. So if depending on your network environment, if you have a pretty much uh, large network environment, not necessarily on an enterprise environment, you are not certainly using a /24 network. You can be using a /16 network that hosts a lot of host IP. So that pretty much is going to, the scan is going to take a longer time, but at the end of the day, it's going to tell you what uh, what devices are currently active up, as you see here on that network. On my home network, um, like I knew already, I was just doing the scan for demonstration purposes. It's only my computer that is currently connected on the host network. So that is how you do a scan of a network to know what devices are connected. If I had printers and other devices on this network, it was going to still reveal them to me, like we see here. So nmap, we can also nmap apart from nmap, I'll quickly clear this. Apart from nmap doing telling us devices that are currently connected to our network, nmap go ways beyond that, giving us some pretty much good insight on information, mostly on ports, and because we know ports are really a big deal when it comes to internet security. So I'm going to demonstrate how to perform a network scan using nmap, uh, uh, a network scan that shows gives of information of the available ports and or such an operating system, and it really goes into depth. Not just it tells us devices that are connected on the network. It's going to tell us the ports that are currently open or closed or filtered, and it will also give us information on the operating system that are currently run by those devices on the network. And we can easily do that by running the nmap command. Nmap, we can do nmap. So what I'm saying is nmap, then do this scan. Like I said, you could go to Google, depending on the scan you want to do, it's going to give you the command. So what I'm saying is do a simple scan of this. Do a simple scan. When you do the scan, tell me the version. Tell me the version of any SV. So this SV just kind of tell me the version of everything that is on this network, because I really want to have an insight of the available I really want to have enough information on stuff that are connected to my IP address. So since I want the port 2, so I'm going to openly state that do the port. This command stands for give me information of the ports that are available, that are open on these devices. Then now what I have to do now is to tell nmap the network to actually perform that's kind of like, I can say, if I can remember my IP address, my IP address, I forgot my IP address, so I'm going to quickly copy it back, so I can do IP config to have my IP address. So this is the IP address. This is just going to give me the information of the network. There's no my IP is my IP address. So now I can clear this. So now let me do that scan now. I'll say nmap, then do a scan of my network. Do a scan of my network. Tell me the version of everything that is connected to my network. So, and this is the network you're going to be performing the scan on. Then I also, like I said, I like to see what is going on at every step of the scan. So I'm going to indicate that, show me the verbosity. Then sometimes since we could actually sometimes be running this for in an enterprise environment, which we need to probably present the result of our scan to our bosses or management for a report. So sometimes it's handy to just write the command on a file, so you can easily, the result of the scan, you output the result on the text file. So you just tell nmap that after doing all this, I want you to write it on a file. So the command on doing that is you do on, say write, then you specify the file name. So I can say it can be, I'll use my name, juju dot text. So all what I'm doing now here is I'm actually telling nmap that do nmap perform this scan on this IP address, that is my computer. Scan my computer. What I first of all, in the first place, I scanned the network. I saw that this IP address is currently active on my network, which is my computer. So now I'm going into my computer, I'm scanning my computer to have to know the version of everything that is running on my computer. Then I go ahead and say the report of the scan, output the report on the scan on a text file, which will be written on the C. At the end of the day, if you go to the C drive, you go to recently save, you're going to find this file with the result. So if I run this, it's going to run, and I think I made an error. What did I miss? Platform version. What did I miss? I don't know where I missed. Let me see. We must have these commands, which I have them on. 1 second. I'm gonna try to do it again. I probably have a typo somewhere. Um, nmap, ss nmap. Paste this. Yeah, it's pretty much the same command. Then I'll put this on do file. Do this on this network. Do this on this network, and that is pretty much it. So if I run this command, so it's it's currently loading. So as you can see, this is the same command which I just ran earlier, which is same. So it's currently doing the scan. Sometimes it takes a little while to actually perform the actual scan to give us a result. While the scan is currently going on, and you can see it's actually stepping me through the entire scan process. All this is because of this command which I put there, this -v, which I openly stated that tell me all the step of the way. And also the port which I mentioned here, it tells nmap that do a spot scan on this host. Do the scan the entire 65,500 ports, available ports. So the scan is actually going to take a little while, because I'm actually scanning the entire 65,000 ports. Give me information about them, which is really important to actually know what ports are open, which one is running, and stuff like that. It is sometimes, if I didn't specify this like this, it could have just it could have just done a scan of the first 1,000 ports. That is the default. But sometimes it's actually good to actually go in depth to say do a scan of the entire thing, 65,500, so I know everything that's going on within my host. So having said that, why the scan is currently going on, it actually takes a while. The scan is actually going on. It's like, as you can see. So while it's actually in the scan, I'm going to sometimes we could ask ourselves that why are we even doing this scanning in the first place? Why should we do the scanning in the first place? Why are we scanning all this? It is very important to do scan of your network. To, let's say you have a server that is connected my SQL database. Sometimes you need to know if it is actually running or it is down, and that is where nmap comes in. So it is very important to walk up to management and tell management this is why it is important for us to do this. And I mean, it is just I don't know how to put it. And also a lot of attacks, a lot of companies have seen attacks that have come because of certain ports that are open, which they didn't actually know those ports were open. Or so if you do an nmap scan, it's going to give you information of the ports that are open, which you could easily say, oh, this port was open, then you close it. And sometimes some ports are open on some devices on the network which are not supposed to be open. So when you kind of like do an intense scan of this nature, it gives you other information. So it is worth moving up to management to tell them why you're doing this scan and why it is important to do a scan of this nature. We are done with the scan. Is currently done. It's actually I think I have some network issue, but it still kind of gave me information of what is going on. So the command that I run to scan is, I'm just kind of go through the report what it gives me, what it gave me. So this is when the scan actually started, DNS, all this. So it is scanning, like I said, it is scanning 65,535 ports because I adequately specify that scan the port. When the moment you mention the port, it's going to do the entire thing. But if you didn't mention it, it's going to do the default one, the first 1,000 ports. So it did the scan for this 65,000 ports, 65,535 ports. So this is actually giving me the information of the port, like you said, port port 40, port 443, TCP 443 is currently open. That is a nice information. I actually know the ports that are open. Then there was kind of like a timeout. So if I run it again, this are not, supposedly these ones are not going to be timeout. You're going to give me information. Then it's also telling me of, it's also giving me more information of the ports that are currently open. So this pretty much does the scan for TCP ports that are open on the network, that are open for it on the network. And it also goes way beyond that, giving me information on also some ports that are, it tells me on those 665 ports that I scan, this number will close. This is the numbers that were currently close. So it says 43 of those ports were filtered, were filtered ports. One thing I want us to know is when we perform scan of this nature, ports are always in a state of open, close, or filter. When it is open, when a port is open, it simply means um, when packets are being transferred to that port, um, a handshake occur. That is, it's going to give you feedback of if the transaction was complete. If it is closed, it certainly means it. If a port is closed, it certainly means um, that the transaction, whenever a packet is sent to that host, it is actually resetted. Then while if you see a port that is filtered, it simply means that port is kind of uh, it kind of have a firewall that's currently protecting that port, the available port in the host computer. So it is sometimes important to know how to interpret the result of open, close, or filtered. Like this tells me this is open, and this port is currently open on my device, on my computer, because I actually run it on my computer. Then it tells me it is running Microsoft Windows out. This is a version of Microsoft that port is running. This TCP port, this is currently running Microsoft Windows 7 and up to Windows 10 work group. So it gives you a lot of information on that particular host. Like my computer, this is the host, my computer name. This is my computer name, Big Josh. That's my name. Then it tells me my operating system is Windows. So you can run it on any if the moment you know the IP address of a computer in the network, you can run it and have all this information about that particular host or on the network. So I think it is a pretty cool uh, application which is worth knowing how to use and how to interpret its result. And one thing which we can do is we can, because the information above, it just gives us information of the TCP port that are currently available. We can equally do this same uh, scan, doing checking uh, the UDP port. The command is will still pretty much be uh, the same. I'm going to show you the command. So if you want to do it for UDP port, because you can't just scan just the TCP port and in case everything looks fine and you just go from there. What about the UDP ports, which also transfer packets? So it said sometimes it's good to actually know how to use them. So it's still the same command which I used before. I just pretty much uh, copied it. So I'm gonna take the first command that I ran because I'm kind of lazy to type and for time constraint. Since it's for demonstration, I'll copy the command which I run earlier, but and just edit it too. So for UDP scan, I'm gonna you just have to change the the first S scan here. You change the S to V to U. So you're actually saying nmap do a UDP scan. Tell me the version. Do a UDP scan. Tell me the version of everything on UDP port. Then now I'm gonna remove this U. So now I'm gonna remove this 65,000 port. I just let it do the default scan of this my IP address of my computer, the verbosity, then write on the file. Then I can edit the file name that now I can say uh, change the file name. I don't want it to write on the same file. Give me an error and say UDP 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 scan. So if I adjust the file, I have a file name Joe underscore UDP scan. So if I run this command, it's gonna do pretty much the same thing which is it did on this on the above section. Just give me information on the same similar information which you just gave me, but it will be on the UDP port, not the TCP port. So for time constraint and UDP port, it actually takes a while because it takes close to 10 minutes to actually perform the scan. For time constraint, I'm not going to run that, but you can run it. Anybody watching this can easily run it on your computer to see the available UDP port that are currently open. One more scan which I will say I will do is the intent scan that uses script that gives you way more information on the network, or that gives you way more information of your host. It gives you information like information in depth, like tells you this port is open, is dangerous, this one is a default setting, it's good to work on this one. So the command we use for that one is uh, pretty much the same. I'll still take this our same command and copy and edit it. So if I want to do that, I get that intent that deep scan using script. What I have to do is I just have to edit this. It's kind of I'll still use the same S, the same S command. Like I said, you could easily Google this common command which we run on common nmap command to run on your depending on what you're searching for, because the command which I actually know it can be done, but I don't kind of memorize them because I could easily look up the command the uh, the, the command. So I'm gonna edit this, kind of show you how to do the aggressive scan to have more information on that host on the network. So I just copied. I had the command. I had it on my text file, so I just copied it from there. I just have to edit it. It's pretty much uh, the same. I don't have nmap here. Nmap, nmap. So what I'm actually saying is nmap perform this scan, give me the version of it, then do an aggressive scan using scripts, because it scripts that actually search the host and gives you information deep information about the host. So if I let this be here, it means I want to do the scan of the entire 65,000 hosts, which really sometimes really takes uh, a lot of time. This is the video. I can't do a video for an hour for this. Actually, time requirement to this. So I'm gonna take out this the P means it's just gonna do the default scan of the first 1000 ports of this same network, and I can edit the name of the I can edit the name of the name of my file, so it saves on a different file. I can say uh, aggressive scan aggressive.txt. So this is just the name of the file which the results will be written to. So if I run this, I press enter, I run this command, see it's actually started, the scan actually started. You see it's telling me script, it's telling me it's running, it's doing a script scanning. This is actually an intensive scan because it's going to give me a lot of information on what is going on this my host. Sometimes it takes a while, but uh, hopefully this it's not gonna take that long. I'm estimating probably between uh 2 to 3 minutes. So this just by the time I'm currently waiting for the scan, this pretty much tells you how long it takes to, because if I'm just doing a scan of my just my computer and it's taking this long, think of a production or an enterprise environment where you have thousands and thousands of computers to do this scan. And one more thing, you can also do this scan with using you can also do this scan using scan on multiple IP addresses at the same time. It doesn't necessarily means you just have to do them, and you can put just list the available IP and separate them with space. It's going to scan all the entire it's going to scan the entire uh, IP which you listed. So in a network environment, is if it, with thousands of computers, it's pretty much holdable. It is worth it. Like it's something which is worth doing because it really gives you information which you can report back to management. I'm going to press enter to see if I can skip some stages. When I press enter, I'm actually kind of forcing it. Like this scan is going to go. Okay, look at what I said earlier. The 1000, since I removed the P command, is actually scanning just 1000 ports, the first 1000 ports, not the 65,000 as it actually did in the previous scan. So if you want the entire network, which I recommend, the entire the the entire is to scan every single thing, is to not put put the P command, so it does the 65,000 ports, which I recommend. So that way you have more information. The only downside to it is that it takes a little bit longer, but when it comes to computer security, we really have to leverage the time we do to leverage the time and probably have the information which we need. Due to time constraint, I'm currently kind of like forcing it to do the scan. That is why you see it's doing retry. On an ideal situation, it's good to let it run on its own, do it adequately, and gives you all the available result. Like I said, it's pretty much the same scan. It's just this one just gives you way more information on what is currently going on in that host. I wish this thing could go so I could. So okay, I basically just forced it to. You see, I basically just forced it to do it in an enterprise, or if you're doing it on your computer, you just have to leverage that 20 to 25 minutes for it to adequately scan and give you the result which you need. Like we see, this scan is pretty much the same like the old one, but it gives you more information like that one. Like I said, it ran a script to actually do the scan, to actually go in depth with the scan. So it gives me pretty much it's telling me on this my computer, because it's my IP address, these are the ports that are currently open, which the previous scan gave me. So it just gives me that this are currently open. Then another information which it gave me again is the operating this all the information here is about it is concerning the operating system. It gives you it ran the script and gives you way important information on the operating system that is run on this my computer, because I use my API just on my computer. But since I forced it, I was pressing enter for it to go very fast, because the demonstration video it didn't actually do a good job in giving me the information. You can see try all of this. But in an ideal situation, it's going to give me a lot of information of my on my operating system. And also after it did that, it went down, it gives me uh if you can see, it ran another script. That script gives me, okay, this is what I was talking about, the state of the ports that are currently open. So this one, the first scan that I did, since it was not an aggressive scan, it didn't go as far as telling me the filtered ports, the open ports, and the closed port. But this, you see, this one actually, it tells me um, 900, since it did the scan on 1000 ports, it tells me 978 of those ports are currently closed. Then it gives me information of the port. Then it earlier gave me the information of the ports that are open. Then it gives me information of the ports that are currently filtered. It means these ones are currently protected by some kind of firewall. So as an IT professional in your environment, you can look at this and say, oh, my port 80 is not currently protected by my firewall. You go and look into it and see why your firewall is not currently seeing that port, which you can configure and do that. And sometimes set some ports can be open, and you can manually, or using this command prompt, to actually close them. Like for me, what I usually do is I usually run the command on my command prompt on all my computers in such a way that I shut down the USB port in such a way that nobody can use our USB device. Whenever I want to use a USB, which is because it's my computer and I chose what I'm putting in it, then I quickly enable it. So it is something that what I'm saying is just an example of how you can open and close a port. You can practically disable ports which you don't think is necessary for users to have access to in a network environment, which Nmap will help you tell you those devices on a host that these ports are currently open on them, which will give you the information on how to on what port to close and what port to leave open. So it's a really cool tool, and also it's also a tool which it is not very complicated, like you see, like I just demonstrated. It's just some simple basic common uh, commands that are out there available. You can Google, you're going to have a lot of research resources on it. um See, also go ahead and give me a lot of information on the ports and stuff like that. It's telling me my SS is a VMware on my computer. I know these my virtual machines. It saw all of them, giving me information about them. It's telling me this port is open. My workstation. There's this information. Okay, this is a fingerprint. This is the fingerprint of my operating system. So it's not currently seeing it, but if I really want to go in depth, I can go on this website. Like it told me, no exact operating system was found. It tells me if you want to have more information on this on your operating system fingerprints, you copy this, you go into this website. I've actually done it before I know it. You go on this website, you paste this fingerprint, it's going to give you the information which was supposed to be displayed here. It could not display it. It also tells me that my computer, I'm not currently running on my administrative session of my computer. It's telling me I'm using the guest session, and this guest session has been up for 7.1 days. So this one comes in the case of a computer forensics, for instance. So Nmap can also help in forensics. So you can tell that this computer on the network, or this host on the network, has been running for 7 days. So my computer has been on since Saturday, November the 18th, and because I rarely shut down my computer. So it actually gives me that information that I've been running for that long. And it also gives me my host name, which is this, my big show. It tells me I'm running on a Windows operating system, gives me information on my CPE. Then it also goes down, gives me information of the script. It's telling me I'm currently the user of it. Uh, it's telling me my messaging sign on is disabled. It is dangerous, but it is a default setting, which is something is worth looking at. So I'll probably after this video I'll go into it and see how I can enable this and set up a default messaging sign up. Probably is actually I currently have a weak password on that, or I have to enable it and actually set something to it because it's explicitly telling me it is running on the default, which is dangerous. Um, that is pretty much what an intensive scan can give you, and Nmap can do way more. Uh, Gives you a lot of information. The important thing is actually know what you are searching for. And in my case, in this example, I was looking for pots. So and the more you know what you're searching for, it's kind of easy to actually go right, type the command of what you're searching for. It's going to give you that information. The command which I gave, I was telling Nmap of the port and the version. So if I want information on other section like the services they are running and stuff like that, I just need to put in that command with Nmap, and Nmap will pretty much give me that information. And also, um, it does not necessarily requires you to use the command prompt, because I know a lot of people don't like command prompt, but I like it. It's kind of easy and faster. You can easily come to here. You can, if you put Zenmap. Zenmap is a GUI interface of Nmap. It's pretty much gives you the same. It pretty much, if I press enter, okay, as you can see, this is the Zenmap. Zen Zenmap. This is the GUI interface of Nmap, so it's the same. As I can see, this is my target. I can perform an intent scan. I can perform a UDP scan, a TCP scan. So this is just the GUI version. And you see, with the GUI version, it kind of helps because if I just pick, let's say I want a ping scan, just a ping scan, it gives me the command that I use for ping scan. Like the GUI version is telling me if I want to do a ping scan, I just have to do. If I want to do a ping scan, I just have to do. Let me see Zenmap. Let me see the command that it gives me. It gave me Zenmap. Mm, Zen Zenmap. So this is the GUI version. If I copy it, if I want uh, a a quick scan, let's just say a quick scan. This is the command for quick scan. I'll copy it. I'll copy it. So if I want a quick scan, I just come to PowerPoint and copy. I copied it from the GUI version, then I just paste. That is the command. I've pasted it. So if I run a quick scan, it's gonna quickly run the scan and give me result. You see, this is just a quick scan, 19 seconds. It just does it and give me the information. If I want intense scan, I go to I don't know the command. I just say Zenmap. Click there. You're gonna open the GUI interface. I just click say do me a UDP scan. Then this is it has given me the command. I copy the command. I come to my command prompt. I paste it, and it's gonna do an intense scan like which is what I previously did before. So like I said, it is worth going to management to tell them why we are actually doing this. And I actually did this due to a limitation of my recording device. It's not it won't show. Like right now I'm actually on browsing those text file which are explicitly told command prompt to write. So if I go to my drive C, I know probably this is not being displayed on the video because of my webcam is just on that particular command prompt screen. So if you have that file, you can easily talk to management and tell them I ran a vulnerability test and this is what I found on our network, and this is why it is worth spending 8 hours doing a scan, because a company is just it's not, Enterprise is not gonna pay you for 8 hours to do scan, so you have to actually defend it by giving an actual report of the scan that you did, the vulnerability that you find, and actually how you went about fixing them. So this video was actually um, intended to show how to perform a network scan and all also some other basic scan which you can do on various hosts on of devices on the network. And we could actually do this intense scan on not just computer, on anything that is on that network, like I said. So I hope this anybody that wants to do scan found this video uh, helpful. In case it wasn't helpful or I missed something, I would love to see the comments below to kind of improve on. I'm going to end the video now, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.